Ask them if you are going to civil nuclear program or the weapons program. Well, okay, let me just briefly add some more explanations about Jian's presentations and Kumar's question. Actually, this project is funded by Plowshare Foundation, which is located in San Francisco. That is an American foundation and who has worked against nuclear powers and nuclear weapons. So they were very positive to organize in Northeast Asia because, as you already listened about Japanese nuclear power plant and energy policy, well, the global tendency is to decrease the nuclear power plants. However, in Japan and Korea, both countries would like to activate nuclear power as a main green energy. So there is many propaganda by the government. So if you see that, well, 55 reactors already you have the power plants in Japan, right? 55? 58. Korea, we already have 20. But if we just calculate about the population or the consumption of electricity, I think Korea, Japan will be the largest consumption of nuclear power plant. Actually, we are very dependent on nuclear power plant, and even the Lee Myung-bak regime, the present president, would like to activate and some increase about nuclear power energy more and more in the name of green energy. So that is one thing that you have to know. And here, because I think you'd like to know about the whole process and what I just felt. Well, then it will be a little bit. Can I use about more than 5 minutes?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, there is some difference between Japan and Korea. I don't know much about Taiwan, so I'm sorry. But if we just compare about Japan and Korea, in Korean case, the nuclear energy and nuclear weapon is very separate issue. Do you understand what I mean? So nuclear power usually dealt with the civil groups who works on environmental, ecological issues, not military or not in general anti-nuclear issues. It's usually in the green movement. But nuclear weapon is always raised in the context of the military security issues or international or Northeast Asian issues or six-party talks or North Korean nuclear weapon development or experiment test, something like that. So it is very complicated issue in South Korea because when you mention, especially when government mentions nuclear power plant, it seems like green energy or very peaceful. But when they say nuclear weapon, it seems very very negative and very military. However, that is very interconnected. If you see in deeper and deeper inside of the whole process of nuclear cycles. But the Korean scientists do not have good relationship with civil society. Actually, we don't know each other yet. So usually the nuclear scientists work in government, but they don't work in the civil society partners. So it is very limited to get information about the nuclear old issues. So it is very limited to access how we can read about nuclear issues or something. So about the transparency of nuclear information is very blocked. So that is 1 or 2 or 3, I don't know, but anyhow, this is Korean context. So 3 years ago, Japan and Korean scientists, not scientists anyhow, Japan and Korean team, for example, our organization, RE, and Japanese team, the leader was Suzuki Tatsuziro, now who is Atomic Council member, I guess, after the Hatoyama regime. Anyhow, we plan to work together how civil society can monitor about nuclear policy in the government. of Japan and Korea. So if we could develop some variables, I mean some standards to monitor, some index to monitor or verify, then that will be great. So we worked for 2 years to develop the index. That's what Jihan mentioned about 3 institutional approach, technological approach, and the public opinion. And we found very, very interesting thing because we thought the policy is very similar. However, the context and the people's opinion and people's recognition between Japan and Korea are really different, very different. And also it was very interesting when North Korea made a kind of some nuclear test or a missile test, then the response from Japan and Korea also different. So what we made some conclusion, then first of all, it is very important to follow up what the politicians say in parliamentary concerning on nuclear issues. And second, we also have to read about the public opinions. Third, it is very essential to work together between scientists and civil groups and the policymakers or think tank members or media. So how can you bridge, how can you make kind of some co-work with those together? So we just spent 2 years to verify such kind of things. So this is really a test version of cooperation to develop index between Japan and Korea. And so from now on, what we would like to do is that we would like to have some more strong solidarity or cooperation team between Japan and Korea. And if this can really work, it will be very welcome to build up some Taiwan team here. So then we could make a kind of some Northeast Asia or East Asia or Asia Pacific monitoring system concerning on nuclear development or nuclear issues in the perspective of civil society or green network, whatever. So this is the background or such kind of things. Do you have any questions?
How do you plan to proceed? Do you have any other future plans for this group?
Well, as I told you, we would like to invite Korean scientists who work in government and who pro-nuclear issues. Mostly they are. But we would like to share about our views or perspectives and opinions together, first of all. But at the same time, we would like to invite the Japanese civil group or scientists. So we would like to have some workshop. And if there are some things that we can find, then we would like to develop more. And fortunately, in South Korea, there are several. We have many peace movement organizations in South Korea. But peace movement organizations usually do not have much concern about nuclear power plants, nuclear energy. So, but fortunately, last year we could have a common understanding. So from I guess it was just 1 month ago, we would like to develop more regular roundtable meeting to share information among environmental organizations and peace organizations or some security organizations, such kind of things. So that is what we are doing in South Korea now. So it is very beginning step concerning on these issues. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do you have some comments or questions?